most unexpected enemy you've ever had. I work for one of the bougiest daycare in California. It was supposed to be modern and all the staff went out of their way for the kids. We even forced our manager to make a rule that none of us were allowed our phones during work so that the babies wouldn't grow up to be iPad kids. For the first few months after opening, everything went smoothly until one day when one of the 5-year-olds started slurring their words and stumbling around the room like a drunkard. We figured it was just some weird sugar rush and sent her home. But the next week, it happened with 2 more kids, then 3. The complaints came flooding in, and honestly, the parents had every right to be furious. One mom's voice cracked when she told me her son had been acting strange for days. But then things got darker. My supervisor insisted on calling CPS on 3 of the families, claiming the parents must be leaving substances within reach at home. I watched a father break down in our parking lot after a social worker showed up at his job. These parents were being investigated for something we all knew deep down was connected to our daycare. The thing that killed me was watching my coworkers' faces during our emergency staff meeting. Elena, who'd been teaching for 15 years, looked like she might cry. Mitch kept rubbing his temples, muttering about how he'd personally inspected every toy twice that week. Our manager tried defending us to the parents, insisting our products were clean, that we followed every safety protocol. But I could hear the doubt creeping into her voice. The health department showed up, went through everything, but everything was clean, and the incidents kept happening. Kids went from feeling nauseous to vomiting. When police finally showed up, our manager did something I'll never forget. She convinced them to investigate the parents' homes first, buying us time. Then she cornered me and Jenny in her office. "Figure this out," she hissed. "I'll make sure you two take the fall. I'll blacklist you from every daycare in the state." Jenny's hands were shaking when we left her office, and we went into overdrive, testing absolutely everything. We started wondering if it was the new carpet in the reading nook, maybe off-gassing chemicals. We paid to have it tested. Nothing. Jenny and I became obsessed, staying late every night trying to solve this. Was it the hand soap? We switched brands 3 times. The air vents, we had them professionally cleaned. I even started suspecting the paint on the walls might have lead, even though the building was only 2 years old. Then our manager pulled me and Jenny aside with this exhausted look. She was giving everyone else mandatory PTO for a week. Everyone except us. "I need to know," she whispered. And I realized she was testing if someone on staff was behind this. It felt awful being the only 2 she trusted, but I got it. The worst part, with just me and Jenny running the entire daycare, the incidents actually got worse. 3 kids in 2 days. One had to go to the ER because their heart rate spiked. That's when we knew for certain this wasn't an inside job. My coworker started a spreadsheet tracking everything, which rooms the kids had been in, what they ate, who they played with, even what songs we'd sung that day. Nothing made sense. The only consistent thing was that it happened in the afternoon, and the symptoms, dizziness, slurred speech, sometimes nausea. Parents were pulling kids out daily now. We went from 60 enrolled to 23 in 3 weeks. Then one night, Jenny and I were going through our tracking sheets for the 100th time, sitting on those tiny plastic chairs at 11 p.m. My eyes were burning from staring at lists when Jenny suddenly grabbed my arm. "Wait, look at this." She highlighted every incident. Every single one of them was in the art room that day. My heart started pounding. We practically sprinted down the hallway, flipping on lights. The paints looked normal. Markers, fine. Then I opened the Play-Doh cabinet. The containers looked exactly like always. Bright colors, properly labeled. But when I opened the blue one, there was this faint chemical smell that made my nose tingle. It was wrong. My hands were shaking as I opened another container. Same smell. The next morning, we had the Play-Doh tested. Positive for traces of sedatives. Someone was spiking our Play-Doh. But here's what made me want to scream. I knew every person who worked here. I'd seen Tom spend his own money on better art supplies. I'd watched Maria come in on her day off when a kid was having separation anxiety. These weren't just good people. They were people who dedicated their lives to children. We were a day away from shutting down when one of our delivery drivers mentioned something weird. He'd seen someone from Happy to Tots, the daycare across town, near our delivery entrance 3 times in the past month. Our security footage showed the same woman, always wearing a Happy Tots polo, always there right before our Play-Doh deliveries. The detective's face changed when we showed him. Turns out Happy Tots had been losing clients since we opened. The woman in the footage was their assistant director. When they arrested her, she said, "We deserved it." Full story on channel link below.